The first object that saluted my eyes when I arrived on the coast was the sea and a slave ship, waiting for its cargo. These filled me with astonishment that was soon converted into terror. I was immediately handled and tossed up to see if I was sound by some of the crew, and I was now persuaded that I had got into a world of bad spirits and that they were going to kill me. I was soon put down under the decks, and there I received such a salutation in my nostrils as I had never experienced in my life, so that, with the loathsomeness of the stench, and with my crying together, I became so sick and low that I was not able to eat. I now wished for the last friend, death, to relieve me. But soon, to my grief, 2 of the white men offered me eatables, and on my refusing to eat, one of them held me and laid me across, I think, the windlass, and tied my feet, while the other flogged me severely. In a little time after, amongst the poor chained men, I found some of my own nation. I inquired of these what was to be done with us. They gave me to understand we were to be carried to these white people's country to work for them. I was then a little revived, but still I feared that I should be put to death. The white people looked and acted, as I thought, in so savage a manner, for I had never seen such instances of brutal cruelty, and this is not only shown towards us blacks, but also to some of the whites themselves. I could not help expressing my fearful apprehensions to some of my countrymen. While we stayed on the coast, I was mostly on deck. At last, when the ship had got in all her cargo, we were all put under deck. The stench of the hold, while we were on the coast, was so intolerably loathsome that it was dangerous to remain there for any time. Now that the whole ship's cargo were confined together, it became absolutely pestilential. The closeness of the place and the heat of the climate, added to the number in the ship being so crowded that each had scarcely room to turn himself, almost suffocated us. This produced copious perspirations, so that the air soon became unfit for respiration, and brought on a sickness among the slaves, of which many died, thus falling victims to the improvident avarice of their purchasers. This deplorable situation was again aggravated by the galling of the chains and the filth of the necessary tubs, into which children often fell and were almost suffocated. The shrieks of the women and the groans of the dying rendered it a scene of horror almost inconceivable. In this manner, we continued to undergo more hardships than I can now relate, hardships which are inseparable from this accursed trade.